My name is Nain. I was born on QB03, and I have returned home to assert my rightful place as a messenger for Princess Aisling's vision of the Empire's future. I have joined QBO first because, like many here, I believe that the prismatic Imperium no longer represents Princess Aisling's highest vision. Like many in the Pilots Federation, I served in the Empire's Navy Auxiliary. Having risen to the rank of King of the Imperial Navy Auxiliary, I'd been permitted a great deal of responsibility to conduct my operations in a manner I saw fit. In my time securing the Empire from threats from within and without, I came to understand a great many of those that the Empire deemed unworthy of future service. A great many turned out to be little more than ordinary men and women like you or I. A great many, like our Empire's great founder Marlon Duval, simply found the impositions placed upon them to be unacceptable and chose to take action. And for those actions they were met with the full force of the Empire's might. Namely, me. But I now see the truth of the Empire. As I mentioned, I am a native of QB03, but have spent a great deal of my life outside the Empire. To the conservative forces in the Empire, that makes me a threat. So I will take the time now to explain myself. When I was 4 QBOs old, my father was tricked into signing an illegal imperial slave contract in order to pay the debts incurred for medical care for my late mother right here in QBO. This contract made me, a 4 QBO old child, into an imperial slave, and a great many loyal to the Empire paid no heed to my abuses at the hands of my imperial slave contract holders. Nonetheless, with help from those of my former Pilots Federation training organization, I rose to the great heights of the Empire's service. And from those great heights I saw what many have refused to see. Those great many no longer worthy of the Empire's service were those like me. The abused, the exploited, the downtrodden, the imperial residue. My service to the Empire came at great cost to myself, but none greater than the cost I'd paid when one of the abused, exploited, downtrodden residue, a QBO jet pilot calling herself Coral Nain, almost cost me my life at the hands of our Imperial Navy. It was then that I realized that I must come home to show to the people of my world, QBO3, and to the whole of QBO, that the vision for the Empire's future, one that has been forwarded by Princess Aisling herself, not only by her words and courtesies, but through her actions, is one that demands support. Princess Aisling has long fought for an end to the disgusting practice of imperial slavery. The conservative voices in the Empire will hail its prestige, claiming that there is a great honor in service and in rising from the humble ranks of the contracts of service to imperial greatness. But I see no honor in my triumphs. I see only the bodies of those who refuse to live under conditions from which I myself have risen, have refused to endure. Even today, in our great system, our party, QBO First, stifles under the continued suppression by those in the Empire that would call themselves supporters of the princess's vision. And I refuse to accept it. It is for this reason that I chose to call for all true supporters of Princess Aisling to aid in the efforts of both President Winters and Admiral Grom. Their own grievances with one another aside, they each represent that which Princess Aisling herself represent to those conservative naysayers in the Empire. Even amongst mine own, there are voices that would support little more than cartoonish imitation of the ways of the Empire itself, and to they, I respond with equal measure. No. I will not forgive myself the failure to aid in the accomplishment of the princess's vision. I will not forgive those in QBO First that choose to remain imperial in spirit, even as they claim themselves fiercely independent. I will not forgive those in QBO for proclaiming themselves the truest aspiration of the princess's wishes, even as they continue to support an imperial society that accepts those things which the princess loathes. I refuse, as the Empire's true founder Marlon Duval once refused, to accept the leadership of those that would perpetuate the conditions that create such great need, such widespread misery, that the institution of imperial slavery can even be spoken of as a compassionate gesture worth preserving. I say no. No to Senator Torvald and her conservatism. No to Senator Patrius and his military autocracy. I only hope that the Emperor herself comes to understand that greatness of the Empire is found not in its fashion and respect for tradition, but in its refusal to accept such conditions. In its willingness to take that which is ours and to create something greater. As I'd said before, I'd spent a great many years outside of imperial space. Like our Empire's great founder, I'd spent many years in the Federation. And now, in the spirit of our great founder, I have returned to Imperial Space, to my home in Cubio, to create something greater. Something that the princess herself has long hearkened to. I humbly beg of you not to come to a decision to support me rashly. As I spoke of, there are a great many here in Cubio first who are themselves far less likely to support the princess's vision than a hideous caricature of the empire itself. Like the Rampire, a species native to Cubio 3 driven to near extinction by the anarchists of the Narwhal, they have been feeding upon their own, weakening Cubio first even as they proclaimed themselves to be our truest representations. It is they to whom I must first speak, in whatsoever fashion they will demand I be heard. But I call upon you to look inside yourself and ask yourselves if the empire truly is what you believe it should be, what it has claimed itself. I remain here in Cubio, to conduct the work required by my people, the people of Cubio. I will speak to you all again some day, but until that day comes, Cubio first.